What's going on, guys? Zennosh here, and today in this video let's do a detailed comparison and analysis between the Heir of Light and the Calibria, especially at the wake of the upcoming update in the Heir of Light, which is very much not really well received by so many player base, and they are really trying to make a very good escape to another RPG platform. And let's see if the Calibria can really provide that kind of really good platform for the players that have been migrating from the Heir of Light, which originally that the Heir of Light was the one that was a very good platform for where the players from the Summoners War could migrate into. And now people from the Summoners War now could migrate from the Summoners War to the Calibria or the Heir of Light for right now, because they really do provide a very good type of same type of gameplay mechanics, which is very easy to grasp and to just work out with pretty easily. Okay, if you guys have pretty much a very good experience on these two kind of games. So without wasting any further time, let's get into this situation right away. Let's do the analysis. Okay, so first of all, guys, when you are going to talk about this Calibria, okay, let's try to look into the summon rates. So you can see right over here that Mystic Summon Scroll or the Mystic Summons are the one that provides you the 3-star to 5-star nat RBZ servants. Okay, so RBZ right over here is known as Lawful, Chaotic and Evil, and right over here, guys, it is about 1% chance only for you to get a 5-star nat RBZ hero in the Calibria. Whereas for the this Heir of Light, you can see right over here that for the epic summon stone, or let's say 3 to 5-star RBZ summoning, you will have a total of 1.2% chance to get a 5-star nat RBZ servant. Okay, which is pretty good. 0.2% more. Okay, so that's the thing right out there. Whereas when we are going to talk about the 4-star nat RBZ hero in the Calibria, guys, what's gonna happen is that you have a total of about 10% chance to get a 4-star nat RBZ hero in the Calibria. Whereas for the Heir of Light, you have a total of 12.5% chance to get a 4-star nat servant, guys. Okay, RBZ. So that's pretty great. A little bit higher chance to get the 4-star nat RBZ servant is quite better. 2% chance more. Okay, so next one, guys, when we are going to talk about the LD heroes. Okay, so what about the LD heroes? So let's try to go into the LD section right over here, guys. You can see right over here that the LD hero in the Calibria, you have 1% chance to get a 5-star nat light and dark hero. Okay, 1% chance is pretty good. Whereas in the Heir of Light, you have a total of 2.12% chance to get a 5-star nat LD servant, which is pretty better. It's more than twice. Okay, so in Heir of Light, you have much better chance to get a 5-star nat LD servant. So that's pretty good right out there. Whereas the next one is the 4-star nat LD servant. Okay, so right out here in the Heir of Light, what is the case right out here for the 4-star nat LD servant? You have a total of 14% chance. Yes, you have a 14% chance to get a 4-star nat LD servant. That is pretty high. That's a pretty high rate. Whereas for the Calibria, you have only 10% chance to get a 4-star nat light and dark hero. Okay, so you can actually see that the rates in the Heir of Light is much better compared to the Calibria. But in actual, is it better? Is it really better? And I would say no. Really no, because in Calibria, you really don't have that system known as Transcendence. We really have to use the dupes or the copies of the same unit, okay, in order to raise their level capacity or to break their level cap limit. Okay, so in this kind of case of scenario, guys, what's going to happen is that in Calibria, if you get just one copy of that hero, that's going to be sufficient. That's a 100% thing that you are gonna get with that one copy, meaning that one copy has a 100% of wholeness or the true value. Okay, whereas in the Heir of Light, okay, right as of now, before the anniversary update, what's going to happen is that you need to get at least 5 of the extra copies of a servant in order to make it a whole. Okay, meaning like if you just receive just one single copy of a servant, it only holds the 20% of the value, not even 20%, like less than 20%. Okay, because you need to keep on fulfilling the missing parts. Okay, because unless you get to the max transcendence level, meaning like you get the 5 more dupes, okay, and then you kind of combine it with your main character, and then only at that time your main servant is gonna have the full capacity or potential. Now that's the thing right out there, guys. Okay, so even though like there's a very high rate of getting the 5-star net and 4-star net servants in the Airflight, well, due to the value purposes, I think the Calibria actually has the higher value on this one. So in case of like summon rates, I think the Calibria wins than compared to the Airflight. Pretty sad story. And the another sad story that's going to come by is that the Transcendence is going to be further increased in the Airflight. In the Airflight, you will have more than like 35 copies. 35, yes, from the 5 copies needed to the 35 copies extra needed in order to get to the full potential of your servant, which is totally bullshit and crazy. Okay, so this is the reason why people are really trying to migrate, okay, from this game to the another game, so that like it will so that the players can have a more better and satisfying gameplay rather than, you know, like into that endless grinding. Okay, so now let's move on to the next phase. Okay, how about the gears? Okay, and gears, yes, and runes. Okay, runes in the Calibria and gears in the Airflight. Okay, so let's get into that one right away without wasting any further time, guys. So let's get into the heroes and the gears right over here, guys. Okay, the runes, and we can go into the servants right over here, and you will see the runes, the gears right over here, guys. Okay, so first of all, guys, one similarity is that on the 2nd, 4th, and the 6th slot of the Calibria, what's going to happen is that the primary stat is never a flat stat. It's always going to be a percentage-based stat, except for the speed stat on the 2nd slot. Okay, that's it, which is pretty good compared to the other RPG games like Summoner's War and Epic 7. Okay, which is pretty good, really good, guys. This means like your farming of the gears is going to be much simpler, much faster. You will have a very higher chance to get that particular set of like runes that you really want to get. Okay, so the farming is pretty much amazing and very fast in here, and the same goes with the Airflight as well. Okay, in Airflight, these you know, like the primary stats of the 2nd, 4th, and 6th slot. Okay, these gears have the percentage stat as the primary stat. Okay, so no problem here at all as well. Okay, it's pretty much the same thing. Okay, that's pretty much really good. But in here, guys, in the Airflight, you have a total of 8 gears, whereas in the Calibria, you only have a total of 6 runes. Okay, so in terms of enrichment, Airflight takes the credit right out here, guys. You know, like takes the advantage right out here, guys, because we have like 8 gears, whereas in the Calibria there's only 6 gears. But well, due to only availability of the just 6 runes, it's much easier to build in here as well. That's another thing, okay, that you have to keep in mind. In here we have to really awaken in the Airflight, which can also be a pretty much a boring and a very bad chore. Okay, so that can also be a very big problem. Well, it's really up to you on how you really want to take it. Okay, the another thing is that like in the Calibria, the removal of the runes are always free, whereas in the Airflight, the removal of the gears will actually cost you the in-game currency, okay, or the gold. But no problem at all, because like Airflight is really generous at always providing tons and tons of gold. So even if you want to really remove it, you know, like the price is so low that it really doesn't scratch you at all. So it's pretty much like virtually it's free as well. Okay, so pretty much that's the similarity right out here. Now let's try to point out into another thing right out there, guys. Okay, how about the energy? Okay, whereas guys, I just started this Calibria, and what I can actually tell you right away is that the energy right out here is pretty much a very limiting factor, meaning like obviously you want to play like day and night, every time, every you know, like all the time. Thing is that like it's pretty much limited in here, as the energy keeps on you know, like if your energy is pretty much like finished, you have to replenish it using the gems. All right, so that is actually a constricting issue in this game right over here. And there are not various type of like events or like other sort of like mechanisms that keeps on providing you with a lot of energy, so it becomes a little bit pay to win feature right out here very fast. Okay, whereas in the Heir of Light, guys, okay, the energy, okay, you can get it through various sorts of ways. First thing, the next thing is that like the valors right over here, well, that's what we call the energy currency right out here. The valors are pretty easy to get. They always come at a very high bunch, especially if you are doing your events and many other things. You'll get tons and tons of valors in no time. Valors are just too freakingly easy to get in this game that like you can play it all day and night and you still won't be getting out of the valors right away. Well, in Calibria, compared to Summoner's War, okay, this gems is pretty easy to get compared to Summoner's War. It's pretty easy to get. That's what I've actually found so far, but still it's not really that huge in order to keep on supporting your endless supply of the energy. Okay, so that's the problem right out there. Whereas in the Heir of Light, okay, the carrots that is provided by you, by the developers, or let's say by the game through events and many other phases of the game, it's just too big that like even if you endlessly keep on burning your carrots, that is your in-game currency in the Heir of Light, it's still gonna be sufficient. Okay, I mean, like, it never goes down. Okay, so in Heir of Light, that's the main feature that I really loved, is that like you really don't have to go away from the game at any time. Okay, you can just keep on grinding and grinding and grinding over and over again, because the energy in the Heir of Light doesn't really go down at all. You can easily replenish it, and there are so many various ways and varieties of ways that you can keep on replenishing your valors, which is just too insane. Okay, so it's the unlimited time of gameplay in the Heir of Light, whereas in Calibria it's pretty much limited. And that's the one thing that I really have to go give down to the Calibria, and a very good positive side to the Heir of Light. Okay, and there are many other ways as well, like let's say, how about for the wish? Okay, so in wish, guys, okay, there's like I think a total of like maybe 4 or 5 times that you can actually make a wish. Okay, and wish can actually does provide you a lot of rewards, whereas for the Heir of Light, guys, there is another sequence known as the reward. If you just go into the reward, you have like 6 times, okay, 3 from the ticket use reward and the 3 from the currency use reward. Okay, both are the same. You can use the roulette in order to get a various sort of like random rewards, just like the wishing well right out here. So they are pretty much nearly the same, but in the Heir of Light you can access it right away, whereas in Calibria you have to really wait. Okay, so that's the thing right out there. In Calibria it's pretty much divided in time basis, meaning like you cannot do all your rolls in a single time. You have to really keep on playing, you have to keep on rolling. Okay, so that's the thing right out there, which is pretty much a little bit like a hard chore, whereas in the Heir of Light you can just do it right away, no problem at all. Okay, it's pretty easy to get in the Heir of Light. So that's another really pretty much very minor issue right over there. Sorry for wasting your time. And now let's move on to the next one, guys. Okay, it says growth plan right over here. Okay, so growth plan in the Calibria is pretty much like, okay, it does provide a lot of stuffs. Okay, I'm like, it's pretty good so far, and I've been really able to get a lot of 3 to 5 star summon books, or let's say the mystic scrolls, a lot from there. Whereas the game guide and the quest in the Heir of Light is much richer. Okay, it's very well thought out. It has been already been updated, revamped, and repatched work, and so many things that like you can get so many stuffs from here, which can help a beginner so much in order to progress in the Heir of Light. Very easy to progress, guys. Okay, so in terms of richness and varieties and diversity of the quest, or let's say beginner support guide, oh my god, Heir of Light takes a very huge cake. Okay, a very huge piece of cake compared to that of the Calibria, which is pretty much a little bit limited stature right out here as well. But indeed, it's better than the other RPG games like Summoner's War. Okay, it's way better, but in Heir of Light it's way much richer. Okay, where you can get a lot of like even 5-star net servants and so many other things, guys. Okay, so that's how the beginners are pretty much supported in the Heir of Light. It's really good for the beginners to make a very good like progress in the game in the Heir of Light than compared to the Calibria. Now let's move on to the next part. Okay, so let's talk about the most awesome feature that made the Heir of Light Heir of Light. Okay, why is it so amazing for me especially? Okay, because of the fusions. Okay, the fusion system is really not available in the Calibria. No, it's not. You might actually be referring to that of the like this craft section, but this actually is not fusion. Okay, this is actually a combined section or craft section, which I will be discussing a little bit later. First of all, guys, what is fuse system? Fuse system is that kind of like process where you can combine any two maxed out units in order to get a higher star grade unit. Like, let's say I want to like combine these two, and then like if I combine two of the maxed out 4-star net units of 4-star current grade units, what's gonna happen is that I'm gonna get a 5-star current grade unit. Okay, so this is one of the most easiest way to 6-star your units very fast. You can actually collect your photos really fast, and gameplay is way super speed in the Heir of Light. This is the reason why I was really able to make so much progress in the Heir of Light compared to any other RPG games right out there. Like, it's just too rewarding, and the fusion rates even have a very good chance to land you a 5-star net servants. Okay, even light and dark servants. So that is the possibility in the fusions in the Heir of Light, which is so beautiful. Okay, and this is the feature that I really don't seem to find in any other RPG games like as this way. There are, but in this fashion. Okay, because like it hits two birds at one stone. It also works like a summon, where you have a very good chance to even get a 5-star net RBG or even LD servants, which is pretty great. Okay, there's always a random chance, but also at the same time, if you don't get that one, so there's no need to worry, because you are still going to collect all your photos, okay, in order to create the 6-star net servants of your choice. So that is the thing right out here in the Heir of Light, which is pretty awesome. Okay, whereas in the Calibria, no. Okay, now let's talk about the combined section. Okay, now this is what it is. Okay, so in the Calibria, there is a combine for this 5-star net unit known as the Necromancer. Okay, so in order to combine him, obviously I think we will be needing all these heroes right out here, which is like same as that of the Summoner's Wall. And thing is that like it will be quite hard in order to achieve them as well, because of all the grinding that you really need to do. And obviously the energy in the Calibria is pretty much limited as well, and you really have to go into the pay to win feature ASAP. Whereas in the Heir of Light, okay, you are able to get a lot of 5-star net units. Okay, and it keeps on refreshing like every month, every freaking damn month. Whereas this particular 5-star net servant known as the Water Halel, she's gonna be available like every time, like all the year around. She's permanent. Okay, so you can always get this one, and she is really one of the best support unit out there in the game, and you can easily get her. Okay, and it's very hard to fuse in the Heir of Light due to the ease of how you can really collect all the required materials. Okay, so that's the good thing right out here. I think the combined section in the Heir of Light is much richer than compared to that of the Calibria. Okay, and I think it's pretty much easier to farm for the materials in the Heir of Light as well. So in this fusion in this combined section, there is like a slight advantage to the Heir of Light. And now let's move on to the next one, guys. Okay, events. All right, events. All right, so main thing that actually has created this Heir of Light one of the most free-to-play games so far, okay, so far, is that due to the events, guys. The events in the Heir of Light is much rich, and it is providing the players with lots of like lots of like amazing rewards. Okay, even the 5-star net summon stones. Yes, 5-star net RBG summon stones are provided like every event. Okay, just like this one. Just look at that. You will be able to get it, and you will get a 5-star net summon just like that. That's how good the events really are in the Heir of Light. Okay, and even the update rewards and many other rewards that comes and goes by really keeps on providing a lot of 5-star net summon stones, and that just gives you a very high chance of collecting a lot of 5-star net collectibles in no time. So that is the beauty of the Air of Light. Okay, and you also obviously get a lot of other rewards as well that you will require in order to upgrade or enhance your servants. Whereas in Calibria, okay, when you're talking in the Calibria, the events are pretty much limited, and I'm trying to use the event banner from this Memu emulator, and it's really not working, meaning like there are so many bugs still left with the Calibria game that the developers really need to sort out and fix out. But I think it's gonna be fixed very soon as well at the same time, so you have to keep on waiting for that one. Whereas when I use it from my cell phone, the banners just pop out, the events just pop out. Okay, and when it actually does pop out, what actually happens is that like it's still in the beginning phase. Okay, it doesn't seem to be really that rich, but yes, you can get a lot of rewards from there. But obviously, you cannot get a 5-star net unit or a 4-star net unit from the events in the Calibria. So that's the problem right out there in the Calibria, guys. Okay, and it really needs that bug fix right out there. Now that's said and done, guys. Let's move on to the next part. Okay, summon banners. That's pretty much a very good feature that you can get in the Heir of Light. Okay, the summoning banners. The summoning banners are pretty much rich in the Heir of Light, where you can summon tons and tons of servant of your choice. Okay, you are within that limited pool. You'll be getting 100% sure that any one of those 5-star net servant will show up, okay, out of those 3. So that is the summon banner in here, which is pretty amazing, meaning like you can already sort out let's say limit the 5-star net service that you really want to get. Okay, which is pretty great. And whereas in the Calibria, it's different. Well, there are no summon banners at all. Okay, it's gonna be a random stuff. Okay, no summon banners at all, and that is gonna be very I think it's a bad thing right out there, meaning like there should be a summon banner where you are supposed to get at least like one particular unit that you want to have. Like there should be a showcase unit or a showcase 5-star net unit that you might get. If you get a 5-star net unit, then it's gonna be 100% sure, or at least 30 to 40% sure that it's gonna be that unit. Okay, so there's no such banner in the Calibria. And now let's move on to the next one, guys, which is known as the Transcendence. Well, there is no sort of like features known as Transcendence in the Calibria, okay, which is pretty good. I really don't want that to happen in the Calibria as well. It's gonna be really bad. Whereas in the Heir of Light, there is such thing known as Transcendence, where you are required multiple copies of the same unit in order to process them, or let's say in order to upgrade them to a higher stage, which is already a very big backlash. Okay, up to 5th level was really good. Transcendence number 5 level, okay, 5th Transcendence was already good so far, but now they are trying to add another like 5 Transcendence, and that is why this game is now going to go down. Okay, so that's the problem right out there. Okay, let's see what devs are really gonna do about that one. But Transcendence feature is that feature that actually devalues, okay, or let's say diminish the value or lowers the value of a single servant copy. So that's the problem right out here in the Heir of Light. Whereas the next one is the gear enhancement. Okay, so when you are actually going into the rune enhancement of this Calibria, okay, it is pretty good. It is pretty okay. The enhancement is pretty okay, and the amount that the Kalinta it actually uses is pretty okay as well. Pretty okay. Whereas when you are trying to see for the gear enhancement in this game of the Heir of Light, it's pretty much better, way better. Okay, so whenever you are trying to enhance, there's more advanced options, and there is a very high chance that you are gonna get success in the Heir of Light compared to that of the Calibria. Okay, obviously Calibria has more improved chances compared to the Summon Swap, but I think Heir of Light really takes the cake in this one. It's much simpler, it's pretty easier, and it's much faster. Okay, and the Kalinta that you are gonna burn in the Calibria is gonna be pretty fast. Okay, the burn rate is really fast, meaning like you will be knocked out of it pretty soon. Whereas in the Heir of Light, due to the availability of the gold that you are gonna be getting through the events, it's gonna be nearly endless. Okay, I mean like even if you want to get it to plus 15, it's not a big deal at all. Whereas in Calibria, I think getting a very good gear, or let's say a 5-star gear to like sort of like plus 15 is gonna be a very big deal. Okay, it's gonna be a really big deal. So that's the thing right out there, guys. Okay, And now let's move on to the next one. That is gonna be the shards. Yes, in the Heir of Light we have got shards, which you can actually keep on collecting by farming in the tiles and the regions, or let's say the world regions. Okay, so when you go into the world regions, there is a certain chance that you are gonna get the shard of a servant or the units. Okay, and when you collect them, what's gonna happen is that like you can summon a servant for free. Okay, just look at it. Okay, so right out here there's a shard drop rate, and if you have like adequate amount of shards, depending upon the nature of these servant, you will be able to summon them up right away. Okay, so that's the very good feature that is available in the Heir of Light. Okay, various ways to get the 5-star net servants, even 4-star net servants and 3-star net servants, just like that. Shards summonings, okay, which is also present in the Summon as well, but I really don't think that it's really present in the Calibria for right now. Okay, which is like bad, and I think the game just crashed. Did it just crash? Man, okay, so Calibria, yes, it has a little bit of bug fix issues. Okay, so if the bug is really fixed, and yeah, and it really does promise to bring a lot of patches that is gonna improve the quality of life for the players, it can have a very good potential. But as of now, Heir of Light really seems to have a plain advantage against it. Okay, as of now. Okay, so now let's move on to the next one, guys. Okay, which is the repeat battle. Okay, so when we are going to talk about the Heir of Light, okay, repeat battle is way much rich, much thought out, and much matured than compared to the Calibria. Whereas in Calibria you only have about like 5 chances to repeat the battle. Okay, only 5 turns of repeat battles. In the Heir of Light, if you have a maxed level account, you can repeat a battle up to 60 times. Yes, guys, you heard me right, 60 times. Okay, so if I just do the repeat battle, what's gonna happen? For 60 times it's gonna repeat, which is just way much more quality of life. Whereas in the Calibria, if you really want to you know, like repeat the battle, what's gonna happen is that like it's gonna take you time, guys. It's gonna take you time. Auto challenge, just do it, and then you only have like 5 turns. You can only repeat a battle for 5 times. After 5 times you have to go and click again and again and again and again. Okay, so that is the problem right out there. So grinding is pretty much easier in the Heir of Light. And well, if you really want to buy, there are certain packs that you can purchase in order to repeat a battle up to 150 times and up to like 400 times as well. From 150 to 400 times repeat battle packs. You can buy that in order to improve your quality of life as well. It's really up to you how much you really want to pay and how much you really want to invest in this game. Okay, so that's the thing right out there, guys. Okay, so repeat battle, I would really love to give this cake to the Heir of Light. Okay, Heir of Light is way much more better when it comes to the repeat battle. And if the developers are pretty much watching this video, please try to really focus on giving us more repeat battles in Calibria, and that would be great. So the next thing is the skill tree. Okay, so when we are talking about a particular servant in the Heir of Light, well, the skills that they get is pretty much what they are stuck into. Okay, I mean, like, these are the skills that they are gonna have for their lifetime. Whereas what about the units that you are gonna get in the Calibria? Okay, whenever you get a unit in the Calibria, you can actually diversify. Okay, you can make your units versatile. Okay, they have even more better uses if you can just max get the branches of their skills. Okay, it's called a skill tree, and from the skill tree you can just swap a particular skill to the available skill slots that is available on that area. Okay, so that's pretty great. What advantage does it have is that, like, if you get just one unit, you have even more value to it. Okay, so that is the beauty of Calibria, guys. I mean, like, if you get just one unit, it has more versatility, much better like uses. You can I mean, like, depending upon the skills, they can be better at certain phase and they can be worse at that phase. But if you just change their skill sets, they will try to overcome their weakness. Okay, but in the Heir of Light, if you are just stuck with this just one set of skills, what's gonna happen? If that's their weakness, that's what they are gonna get stuck with their entire life. Okay, so that's the thing right out there, guys. So the versatility in the Calibria really takes the cake. Okay, that's what I really like, and this is also what the developers of the Heir of Light really needs to think about. This is how the game can actually have much better gameplay than compared to like just increasing the Transcendence. It is really pathetic move from the developers from the Heir of Light, okay, which is really bad. More Transcendence is like a poison, okay, a little poison indeed. Whereas in the Calibria, if like they have the skill tree, and if it can be imported in the Heir of Light, oh my god, that could be better than compared to the Transcendence. That could actually be even better, okay. So if they could actually think about this one, then that would be just awesome, really awesome, okay. So seems like that is pretty much it, guys, okay. Those are all the things that I can actually come up so far to show like what are the differences and similarities between the Heir of Light and the Calibria. What do you guys actually think about it? What do you guys think that like which game is much better? Is it gonna be the Heir of Light, or is it gonna be the Calibria? Please let me know in the comment section below. I would really love to hear you out, and then like let's discuss about it, guys, okay. And then like what do you think about, like, is it gonna be quite good for you guys to transfer from the Heir of Light to the Calibria, provided that like it's pretty much a little bit limited in terms of like using the resources in the Calibria? Are you still going to enjoy it? Then it's really up to you guys. Whereas in Heir of Light, oh my god, the upcoming update is gonna be a devastation. Let's hope that the developers won't really like push through with it, okay. If it does not, then oh my god, Heir of Light in all sort of like ways, it is kind of much better, okay. So anyways, that's my own analysis. Let me know your analysis as well, and this is it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to keep on enjoying the contents of my channel. See you guys in the next video.